So this is a little different.
Why are we here, Winston? Shouldn't we be on motorcycles right now?
This is one of our Off the Bikes episodes, obviously.
Of course, hope you guys are getting used to that every Wednesday.
Yes, don't forget Bike Stuff Mondays, Off the Bikes Wednesdays.
Just dropping ice all over the place.
Yeah, that's what you're doing, huh?
Now, would you expect, Winston, I'm going to ask you this.
Yeah.
Would you expect that you would be able to get such an artisanal burger, so beautifully done, a cheeseburger?
I don't even know how you're supposed to eat that, to be honest.
You'll figure it out.
It's a massive big meatball almost.
And
it looks awesome.
Buffalo mozzarella cheese with Wagyu beef and fried onions and cherry tomato salad in mainland China.
I wouldn't expect that, no.
No, why not?
Because I'm sure most of you guys notice on our videos, it's usually fried noodles or some kind of rice or some kind of like veggie dish or whatever. You know, this is not typical Chinese food.
Right.
And historically, it's been very difficult to find any kind of quality Western food in China. Right?
I would say that holds true till today. I'm going to be honest with you. I actually just did a video about this.
Yeah.
About do Chinese people eat American food or do Chinese people eat Western food? And good luck, bro.
I don't know if I can do it.
I'll talk while you take your first bite. Don't pay attention to me. Don't watch him. He's gonna make a mess. Oh, you did well. You did well. Is it good?
Yeah, that's amazing.
Is it?
Yeah.
In most places outside of Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen and Guangzhou, it would still be very difficult to find quality Western food in mainland China. That hasn't changed whatsoever, and that's kind of what we're talking about today. Is the dichotomy of the things that you will find in a smaller area in China, not just rural areas, but smaller cities, in comparison to a place like this, right?
Yeah.
Can you introduce where we are?
Okay, we're in Shekou, SeaWorld to be more precise.
Not the American SeaWorld.
Yeah, no, there's no aquarium here. It's called Heilongjiang. There's a massive dry docked old cruise line over here, an old French cruise liner. And it's always historically been the place where foreign expats live and hang out in Shenzhen. So it's been this kind of foreign bubble. When I arrived here 11 years ago, it was the only place you could go to get any kind of Western food. It wasn't always as good as this, I'll tell you that. They had like a Subway here, you know, Subway sandwiches.
Yeah.
And it was the only one in the city. And a couple of sort of like restaurants, like Italian restaurant, German restaurant, a couple of these, mainly for the oil workers that came out here.
Right. No places that you're going to be spending, as much as we just spent on a salad, basically.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit different. This is freaking awesome, by the way. I'm not even like a massive salad guy, but this is absolutely delicious for sure. So yeah, very shocking to me because the thing is, Winston does live in this city, so although he doesn't spend a whole lot of time in Shekou eating Western food, you live in the Chinese part of Shenzhen, really.
Right.
You are accustomed to being able to have the outlet to be able to do so.
Yeah.
In the city that I live in, where we usually film, I don't have that option. We actually, I'd say we have 2 or 3 Western restaurants that definitely don't stack up to anything foreign owned. And pretty much every time you go to a Western restaurant owned by a Chinese person, you're going to get Chinese-ified food. And it's not Western food. It's just not the same, right?
Yeah. I mean, this place, because there's so many foreigners here, they kind of have to have Western standards when it comes to their food. You see, we've got a Western waitress. We got, it's different. Everybody in this area that works here, they can speak English. So it's kind of cool.
Now, we're not just talking about food. I kind of want to talk about, we go on trips all the time, right? We just got back from Jiangxi province.
Yeah.
It was pretty interesting because I think some of the footage that we got there in that trip would really open people's eyes as to how crazy China can get. Because actually, I know a lot of foreigners that live in Shekou type areas, like where we are now.
Yeah.
That watch our videos, even living here, and are like, "What the hell is going on? Like, it's really like that out there." It's totally
we've got a
different.
friend who is trying to tell us that, there's no litter in my area. Like you can walk around I never see any
Beijing.
litter. Yeah, in Beijing, but that's because he lives in a tiny little bubble and he goes to work and back on the same route, like on one street basically, and he goes to posh clubs and things. So he doesn't have a concept of what China's really like. And a lot of foreigners that come and live in the big first-tier cities, they don't understand that these little bubbles that they live in. Like if you live in the Shekou area, you'd think China's a completely different place to what it really is. Because you don't see, sort of rural situations here. You don't see the fact that there isn't a lot of choice in China. And literally, you can drive half an hour in any direction from here. In fact, you can just walk down some of these back streets. You can kind of get to those, pikey little areas. But you could literally drive half an hour away and it would be like no running water and weird kind of like little pikey places. It's kind of fun.
For sure.
Yeah.
You actually did a really interesting video the other day about what's inside a Chinese convenience store. And that's indicative of a Chinese convenience store in a first-tier city, right? So in that video, correct me if I'm wrong, but the things you can buy are like, you can buy liquor and beer, some foreign branded things, right?
Yeah,
You got your condoms, you got your razors, you got all that kind of amenities, right?
correct.
All that stuff that you need. A bunch of different kinds of flavors of tea. Maybe some snacks, right? They had some meatballs and things like that.
Chicken feet.
Chicken feet. It's very China-fied. Like, it's definitely different than Western convenience stores. However, what kind of things would you be able to find in, say, for a convenience store that we went to in Jiangxi? What's the differences there?
You can buy water,
Right. And then?
instant noodles.
Okay.
You will be able to buy snacks like chicken feet and stuff. They have those there. Baijiu. But yeah, I mean, as far as like drinks are concerned, if you want beer, you can get probably Qingdao and the local beer, whatever it might be. But that's it. There'll be like 2 choices for beer, and there'll be Wang Lao Ji. You can probably buy there. You can't buy coffee.
No way.
None of that stuff. It's all, you know, you're pretty much stuck. It's a very limited selection. But I mean, basically, I think the point of this video is to tell you that the first tier cities in China are nothing like the rest of China. You
Like,
know,
it might as well be different. They might as well have borders at that point.
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Different countries.
because what we're sitting in here, you will never find that elsewhere in China. It's impossible. You won't get a burger like this anywhere except for Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, or Shenzhen.
Do you remember when we went to, it was actually right outside that place in Jiangxi. We went to the most expensive Western restaurant in that town, where all the rich locals went to go party, right?
Yeah,
Honestly, some of the worst food I've ever had.
we got footage of that, right?
We do,
You can-
we do.
With those fake plastic fish in the fish tank thing.
It's almost laughable what the concept of.
It's ridiculous, yeah. That's what you can expect, yeah.
And again, I guess my piece of advice would be to, if you're coming to China or moving to China, look at the differences. It's super interesting, right? But don't have ridiculous expectations when you get out of the main cities, because you're going to be pretty uncomfortable.
You won't be able to find coffee. I mean, that's it.
And squat toilets
Yeah,
everywhere. And,
totally. I mean, like where you live, a third tier, it's third tier, right?
Right.
I mean, you can dig around and you can find stuff, but it's always crap. I'm sorry
Right,
to say, like,
right.
unless you go to the 5-star hotels there or something. Like, you can find coffee shops, but like, remember the other day we tried to have coffee and it was just water. It was like coffee flavored water. There was no coffee in it. You know?
However, in the local, excuse me, kind of the local third tier cities and below is when you can find the real kind of gems, right? A lot of the local cuisines, if you're an adventurous eater and things like that, that's where you're going to really see that kind of stuff. That's actually, I hate to say this, it's so cliche, but that's the real China that you see, right? For sure. Obviously, we're trying to get the point across that this actually isn't China.
No.
It's an oasis away from China.
Correct.
And I thought they would be interested to see that something like this does exist.
One thing I would like to say is that there's this kind of poshness thing going on here where you do hear people say, especially the guys that go work in the sort of lower third tier cities and stuff and fourth tier cities, they're like, you don't know the real China. I mean, we're guilty of that too. I mean, in our videos, we like to say, you know, this is what China's really like. It's 90% of China is like what you see in our videos, us riding around in the rural areas. It is 90%.
Right, I mean,
You
there's
know.
the majority of the country
Yeah,
is agricultural like that, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, the real China is what you make it. You can live in these little bubbles like here in Shekou, and you can be all like, well, this is China, but you know, unless you get a balanced view of what's actually going on around you outside the big cities, you won't really have a proper concept. It's like going to America and only going to New York and thinking that the whole of America is like New York, and it's not.
Absolutely.
I drove west to east and back again, and it's totally different all over the place, and the majority of America is not New York,
Right.
you know. So.
Pretty much sums it up, really.
Yeah.
It's like any big country, you know, it's wildly different across each area.
Yeah, so you can find things that you're looking for as a Westerner, but only in the first tier cities.
You're going to have to change your lifestyle
Yeah,
otherwise.
absolutely. I guess that's it. Anything you want to say?
I have to say this food is awesome. Buy a burger concept if you're in Shenzhen, not affiliated with us, but it's really, really, really delicious.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of blown away with the quality of food
it's
here.
amazing. Yeah.
Also, I don't want you to forget to like, comment, and subscribe, of course.
And if you're somebody who knows what the real China looks like, or you're the kind of person that keeps saying, why do you only show the crap parts of China? Well, look, we're showing a nice part now, aren't we? So, love you guys all the same, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay awesome. So guys, thank you for watching. You're awesome as always. Now, just a quick thing I have to throw in here is that our Kickstarter campaign for Conquering Northern China is still live. if you guys have the chance or the gumption, or if you loved Conquering Southern China, or if you just love watching the channel, please go check it out. At least see it and see what we're on about. We're looking forward to hearing your feedback. You don't have to back us, but please tell us what you think. And maybe you have some suggestions for us for our upcoming documentary. Anyway, guys, love you all and can't wait to see you in the next one. So, as always, you know the drill. Stay awesome.
Yeah.